My name is Natalie Rossiter-Rackor. I'm involved with the Tropical Plant and Invasion Ecology Lab. Now, this lab was actually established almost 20 years ago, and the research is very much focused on floodplains and savannas. The lab leaders are Associate Professor Sam Setterfield, and there are a range of other members from RIEL. And a big part of the success of the lab has been a close collaboration with the Northern Territory Government and a range of other partners and universities. So native grasses actually form a really important element of savanna landscapes. In the savanna, you have this continuous understory of native grasses, and the grasses provide important food and habitat resources for wildlife, but they also provide the native grass fuels for the frequent fires that we have throughout the dry season. Unfortunately, across the savannas, we're actually seeing this native grass understory being totally replaced by a range of invasive grasses, including gamba grass and mission grass. And these grasses are a huge threat to savanna landscapes, and many of them could spread right across the whole of Northern Australia. So when the lab was established, originally the key research questions were very much focused on understanding the biology of these invasive species, why were they so successful, and what actually helped them be invasive. We then moved on to documenting the impacts of these species. So why were they a threat, and why do we need to be worried about them? So over a long period of time, including my PhD, we actually documented the ecosystem level impacts of gamba grass invasion, particularly looking at the impacts on nitrogen and carbon cycling, and also the impacts on fire regimes. In the last 3 years, with the NERP project, we've actually moved on to questions around the management of these invasive species. So we know that they're a big threat, but what can be done about it? And how can we inform managers? So from our research, we've documented that gamba grass increases fuel loads dramatically. So instead of having native fuel loads between 1 and 6 tonnes per hectare, we're seeing gamba grass invaded areas with fuel loads up to 30 tonnes per hectare. We've quantified how this then changes fire intensities. So instead of seeing low intensity, slow moving native grass fires with intensities up to 2,000 kilowatts per metre, we've documented gamba grass fires with intensities up to 48,000 kilowatts per metre. Not only that, it doesn't just change intensity, but it also changes the fundamental fire behaviour of these fires. So this is a photo taken from a gamba grass fire near Litchfield National Park a couple of years ago. And just to give you some scale, the 2 red dots at the bottom, they're actually cars. So it gives you some idea of the scale of the fire. This is a really fundamental change in the behaviour of these fires. So it's now gone from being quite a grass fire to much more like a southern forest fires. These fires lead to tree death, and again, this is a photo taken from near Litchfield National Park. All these eucalypts in this photo were killed from one single gamba grass fire. So our recent projects have been very much about how do we manage this threat. And so the NERP 1.4 project was very much focused on basically developing prioritisation tools to help managers identify areas for gamba grass monitoring and the specific management actions that they needed to carry out to help resolve this issue. A key outcome of the project has been we've mapped the extent of gamba grass invasion in Litchfield National Park and the Kamali region. So this map here very much shows the density of gamba grass. So the important bit of the map is that the red is high infestations, high densities of gamba grass. And you can see that this extends quite a way into Litchfield National Park. So we first mapped the distribution of gamba grass, and then we determined the historical pattern of invasion. And we fed this information into a model which would then predict the future patterns of weed spread. We then used this to help develop a model that will predict the cost and effectiveness of management actions. So the NERP project in 2005 will continue to have significant research outcomes. So we're currently working with NT Parks to develop costed management scenarios, for the management of gamba in Litchfield National Park. So So we've developed, there's 6 scenarios there, each one's fully costed, and so then that can be used for decision making within the park. So upcoming projects, so in July this year we start a new project looking under the guise of the Bushfires and Natural Hazards CRC. So this project will be very much extending the work that we've done previously and going on to look at how a range of these high biomass invaders alter fire risk. So we're going to be doing risk assessments and particularly focusing on the risk to human life, to people's assets and to people's livelihoods. We're also then mapping areas of risk to try and identify the areas of greatest risk in the landscape, and again, for this range of grasses, look at costed management scenarios to reduce this risk. Thanks very much.